And welcome back to High Noon Racing. Today we're going to attempt to knock out our entire punch list. It's probably not going to happen, but we're definitely going to give it some effort. The rear suspension components that we're waiting on, I think are about to ship. I actually talked to Alex today and he wanted to know what kind of exhaust I had because it would cause an issue with the upper and lower panhard bar depending on the exhaust, but we don't have to worry about that because our exhaust goes straight out the front bumper. Alright guys, first up on our list we need to get some actual cotter pins from Tractor Supply because that's the only place around here that really has what I need.
So we gotta turn the castle nut until one of the gaps lines up with the hole. Then we gotta install our cotter pin, then go around the car and finish up the rest of them. Next up, I started working on the top 3 transmission bolts because I never put them in.
I had to stick my hand in between the cylinder head and the trans and firewall, and it didn't want to be there. And I kept trying to finger start this bolt. And I was like, man, something's got to be wrong. I don't know how long I tried. So I got my little borescope camera out. And sure enough, there ain't no threads there. Ain't got no gas in it. So, yep, went ahead and got all the rest of the bolts in, tightened up for the transmission. So that's good. Now I'm going to do the tranny lines and yeah, let me show you where I had my hand. This gap right here, I had to sneak up like this, flatten my palm out to get it up and there. And I had a little bit of, I'm trying to see if I get, yeah, I had a little bit of room to work the fingers there. It's not a very nice fit, but oh yeah, fun. We got them.
Now I'm gonna start working on running the transmission cooler lines. I forgot to put the dipstick tube on before installing the transmission, so I'm probably gonna have to fight that and get it in. Shout out to Emilio for mentioning in a comment, try out the banjo fitting style hookups, because let me show y'all something. These are the tight 90s I was talking about in 6AN, because these are 6AN lines. Let's see. Alright, so I might be able to actually get that one on, right? Maybe, kind of hard. Let me show y'all. So it barely fits up on there. It would be an issue. I mean, after tightening it down, it might be better, and we might still try and use that. But over yonder, right here, you ain't gonna be able to get on that straight to thread it in, no matter what angle you hit it from. It just ain't gonna happen. So that banjo fitting is definitely gonna come in clutch for this. Now on the 4L80, one side is longer than the other, and if you don't put the long side in the right side, I believe it's the back. I'll have to double check. Don't take my word for it right now. But if you don't put the long tube in there, it'll actually burn up the transmission. All right, the long one indeed is in the back. So keep that in mind, fellas. All right, sick. Emilio, awesome comment, awesome recommendation. These are totally gonna work. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you how these banjo fittings are assembled. Basically, you got 2 seals. One seal will only fit in one spot. The other seal, you kind of gotta force over the threads, which I'm not too happy about, but I think it'll be just fine. All right, I think it's time we kick it up a notch and start getting done some serious work. Let's do it.
All right, got quite a few things done today. Started working on some wiring just because it's easy and it's night. And let's see, we ran the tranny cooler lines. We rerouted the coolant line, the main coolant line that used to run over the turbo. Now it runs around the turbo. I'm gonna get new hoses to replace all that and make it look really nice, but the routing is good, so I like it. The dipstick tube and where I fill transmissions at, the dipstick tube, I managed to get in, but didn't like how it's sitting in there, so I'm going to order a flex one, and I'll have to show you guys that. It's a flexi, like hose, basically, and it just mounts to the firewall, but way easier to put in when a transmission's already in. So we'll have to order that and make sure it has a locking dipstick tube, because that's pretty important. Storm rolling in. Had to cover everything up. I can still work under the car, but we got bigger problems on our hands. I had to take out the rear banjo bolt to tighten the AN line onto it because I couldn't get a wrench anywhere which way while it was still in. When I started threading the rear banjo bolt back in, it started to strip. So I'm gonna have to find a tap and very carefully re-groove the threads back to where they need to go.
Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Large hail, damaging wind, and ground lightning are occurring with this storm. Move indoors immediately. Lightning is one of those. Remember, if you can hear thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning.
Alright, so we went to Harbor Freight and we got this NPT pipe, tap, and die set. Now, the only thing we got to be careful of is this is 1/4 inch NPT, but it's straight threads. These are tapered, so we want to, as we're putting the tap in, we want it to thread into the existing good threads. We want it to cut out the bad threads, so eliminate those basically, and then we'll still be able to use the existing good threads. Basically going to be like surgery, and I already know that getting this up in there, there's not a whole lot of room, so I'm half tempted to cut a hole in the floor just to be able to get in there so I can get straight on. But let's hop under there and let's find out. All right, we are super lucky. We have just enough room to get up in here and actually work on it. So I'm gonna try and get it started, get it nice and lined up, and then I'll get a wrench on it and hopefully cut those first 2 to 3 threads that are bad. All right, definitely blessed. It is not very often that you pull off a repair like that in aluminum, but we are good to go. And now we're gonna move on to the other stuff, like this here dipstick. And filling it, swapping out the accelerator pedal. For now, this will do. It'll make it easier to access. Let's go ahead and fill the transmission. All right, filled the transmission, and my stupid self, I forgot to put a slip yoke in the back, so good $40, $50 of ATF just kind of ran out the back. Anyways, switched out the accelerator pedal. It's, you can hear the rain now. It's started to rain, so I had to cover everything back up. Here's the tranny harness here from Holly, and I'm gonna see if I can tidy it back up under the tent here while it's raining. Whew. All right, guys, another night. Weather is not agreeing, but that's okay. Got quite a bit done. Let's see, filled the trans. Probably around 7 to 10 quarts dumped out the back because I didn't have the slip yoke in. I'm an idiot, whatever. Put a slip yoke in it, so I'll have to spend another $60 in trans fluid. Yay me. Started hooking up the shifter, and I gotta relocate the shifter. I'll show you why. Oh yeah, I also swapped the throttle pedal out for a brand new one with a lifetime warranty from O'Reilly's because our TPS sensor was going crazy. All right, so
put a grommet in here and carved this out so that this would line up. The angle of this was mounted up further. I'm gonna have to bring it back to get this where it wants to be angled. So I'm gonna have to fab up basically a little mount to mount the shifter to, which is no big deal. It's gonna bring it back a little bit, but it won't be uncomfortable. It'll be all right. I know I did a lot more stuff. I just gotta remember. I guess we'll go underneath and show you down there. So the shifter bracket needs spacers so it can go over that lip right there. That's done. That's on. There's some sort of eyelet or something that goes on this that was not in my hardware that came with this, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But it loops around, under and over and back up in, and that's pretty much that for down here. Oh yeah, threw the starter back on. I did a bunch of stuff. I've just been relaxing, kind of drinking some whiskey, so I kind of forgot everything I did, but I did a lot. I know that. It went ham. Yeah, let me show you. So this is a old one. We're not going to be using this, but this will work. It'll work on TH400 or 480, but I had to put it in there just so fluid would not come out. And we'll have to get more fluid and fill this even more just to make sure everything's tippy top. Oh, what else did I do? Oh yeah, the trans harness. I went ahead and doctored it up with some good old electrical tape there, and I went ahead and made some leads for all the different connections we're gonna have to connect back up. Obviously extra long, cut them to size. But yeah, we put in some kick-ass work, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good. Got a lot done. Still got more to go, but we're still waiting on parts too, and we're saving up money for the final parts, which is the drive shaft, the new yoke, and the U-joints. So that's 800 smackaroos there, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we just out here drinking whiskey, enjoying the tunes. And that's probably going to do it for this weekend. I'm sure I'll do more tomorrow, but if I do, you won't miss it. All right, guys. If you guys are building something, you got a project you're working on, drop a comment below. Tell me about your project. I love hearing about that stuff. I don't want this stuff to ever fizzle out or die out. This is it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like Zen for me, you know, just working on hot rod stuff, doing hot rod stuff, you know? All right, guys. Probably already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think about the build so far. Sorry, the weather kind of sucks today, but it is what it is. Catch y'all on the next one.
You gotta build a car. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the greatest car ever to hit the drag strip. It's gonna be fantastic, wonderful, amazing. We're gonna build it together. You can do this, all right? I need you to get up off your fat ass and get out there and start working on it, though.